JFK's secret affair with flight attendant Joan Lundberg, a story of passion, pain, and secrets that shook the Kennedys. In the golden haze of 1950s California, inside a dimly lit Santa Monica bar called the Sip and Surf, a young flight attendant named Joan Lundberg stood by the jukebox. Vibrant, confident, and unknowingly on the verge of stepping into a tangled love story that would echo behind the closed doors of American history. At just 23, Joan was a single mother of two, juggling work as a flight attendant and cocktail waitress, when a smooth-talking senator from Massachusetts approached her. John F. Kennedy, already a married man, began with a charming line, asking what song she was about to play. That casual flirtation would unravel into a romance full of fire, secrets, and heartbreak. Their connection was instant. Joan was drawn in by his magnetism, and he in turn found comfort in someone outside his political circle. Over time, their relationship grew into something deeper. She wasn't just another woman. Joan became his confidant, his emotional escape. He opened up about his crumbling marriage to Jackie, calling it fine, not great, and revealing his inner fears and insecurities that rarely made it past his carefully constructed political persona. But things weren't simple. Just days after their first encounter, JFK rushed back to be with Jackie, who had tragically delivered a stillborn daughter, Arabella. Jackie, broken and grieving, saw through her husband's emotional distance. She sensed the absence of empathy. Her heartbreak wasn't just from loss. It was the dawning realization of a marriage built on appearances, not trust. Yet JFK continued to see Joan in secret. He introduced her discreetly to his Hollywood-connected sister and brother-in-law, attending a glamorous dinner party where Joan, dressed in a Marilyn Monroe-style outfit, felt like an outsider but couldn't help falling deeper. That night, under the alias Mr. and Mrs. Robert Thompson, they shared a motel room where passion quickly gave way to intimate conversations. He confided that he didn't truly know how to love, except when it came to politics. Back home, Jackie was no fool. She confronted him, asking, "Who's Trailer Park Joan?" She'd heard whispers from his sister. While JFK admitted to knowing her, what exactly he confessed remains a mystery. But it was enough for Jackie to consider divorce. Joe Kennedy, ever the political strategist, stepped in to keep the family intact, offering Jackie independence, money, and the promise of a future, if only she stayed. She agreed, but at a price. The affair with Joan didn't end. By 1957, as JFK's political star was rising, he continued the relationship in secret, flying Joan around the country and covering her expenses. She was the hidden piece of his private life. Joan even recalled JFK worrying about Jackie's loyalty, suggesting she might be seeing other men, a projection perhaps of his own guilt. Everything changed when Joan found out she was pregnant. Her heart sank as she told him. His response was a mix of shock and panic. "I have no words," he said. She pressed him. "Find some." Eventually, he admitted he couldn't handle the situation. Not as a politician, not as a man already torn between his public image and private life. He begged her not to keep the baby. Days later, she received an envelope with money and instructions unspoken but painfully clear. She terminated the pregnancy, heartbroken and disillusioned. Their final conversation was raw. She told him she needed space. He tried to apologize. She left him with words that must have stung. "You love Caroline, and I know that, but I'm somebody's daughter too. Remember that the next time you treat a woman the way you've treated me." In November 1960, JFK became the 35th President of the United States. His affair with Joan never surfaced publicly, though Jackie, shrewd and cautious, quietly placed someone inside his office to monitor suspicious calls. She never learned about the abortion, but she lived with the emotional wounds. Years later, she would tell a family member, "My marriage was like a deep black hole. If I looked down, I'd fall in." In private, JFK remained conflicted. He once told a friend, "There are no other women. There's only Jackie." But Joan had heard his truth before, that politics was his first love, and he didn't know how to love anything else. Their story ended quietly. Joan moved on, eventually marrying Fremont Hitchcock in 1963. But when JFK was assassinated in Dallas, the pain hit her like a storm. She locked herself in her bedroom, screaming and sobbing for hours. That chapter of her life, once filled with late-night phone calls, motel rendezvous, and whispered dreams, had ended not with closure, but with silence. It was a secret relationship that revealed not only JFK's personal contradictions, but also the emotional cost for the women entangled in his orbit. Joan Lundberg wasn't just a fling, she was a mirror to the man behind the legend, and a woman who carried the weight of that history long after the cameras stopped flashing.
For full video, click related link below or like and subscribe this channel.